The internet cannot agree on Angelina Jolie's personality type. INFJ, ESTP, or something completely different. So for today's video, we dug deep. Hours of footage, 2 decades of interviews, to figure out what patterns actually showed up consistently. And what we found will definitely surprise you.
We're all a bit wild and free. We all want to, get nuts and free and happy.
To start things off, we actually did see consistent signs for extroverted sensing and introverted intuition somewhere in Angelina's personality type. And so all those guesses about Angelina being either an SP or NJ personality type, in that regard, things fully check out. Whenever Angelina talked about exploring or engaging with the outside world, she would describe the experiences she was immersed in and how she liked sometimes following her instincts and engaging physically.
Every moment's different. There's a danger, there's a surprise, there's a life.
I mean, my instincts have led me to do lots of things, knives or certain things.
Have a little madness, have a little wild, get out of the box, get out of your head, make a mess.
At the same time, whenever Angelina talked about preparing herself or anchoring herself, it was always undeniably introverted intuition.
I just always had the idea of adopting an orphan was very much in my mind. So if I didn't adopt Matt, if I had a child, then Maddox would be where? In an orphanage somewhere.
There was a lot of narrowing in on specific possibilities, long-term implications, or guesses about things that she had fleshed out for herself in her mind.
60,000 refugees, and then you go back and there's 1 million, and then you go back and there's 2.7 million, and the world's aware.
This is what's going on. Look at where it's leading, and then look at how we want to help it lead in a different way. She was really big on the consequences and the implications and the impact. Now, out of these two functions, which she actually prefers, this is where things start getting fun. At its core, extroverted sensing is an exploring function, and it likes focusing on what's real and concrete. So with SP personality types, where extroverted sensing is a higher preference, you should expect to see spontaneity, Angelina freely breaking away from outside expectations and responsibilities. As well, we should see Angelina describing things very realistically without a lot of extra speculation or reading into things added in.
Taking in the environment, the sun, the birds, looking at the water. I'm fine with just staring outside and I can do that for a while. I'm like, oh.
I feel like a lot of unhappiness and disorder comes from like rigorous scheduling, and if things aren't very planned out, I don't get stressed out at all.
On the other hand, introverted intuition, it's a preparing function that likes focusing on guesses and possibilities. So if Angelina is an NJ personality type that has introverted intuition as a higher preference, we should expect to see a lot more planning, goals, expectations, and Angelina reading a lot into things.
I was thinking the other, what it is to be an outsider, and I think that's just, to be somebody who's comfortable with other people.
I think she felt sometimes the public was with her and sometimes they really weren't. I think she was very misunderstood.
Very comfortable with jumping into different perspectives and putting more meaning into it.
I think it's probably about this, or I think this might be a connection.
I don't think she felt that just Maria was enough. I think there's this idea of her that she just wanted to be glamorous or be the thing, and I think it was more survival.
Quite a bit of interpreting and guessing. She seems to have some form of an intuitive function higher.
No, I just have to schedule things properly and make sure I don't get overwhelmed.
Thought I had this great plan. I thought I know what I'll do.
And I think that's responsible, and that's something that's good to be looked at.
Be responsible to everybody, make sure everybody's okay. We were a team. I always wanted to buy her a house.
Being married with kids, wanting more kids, and wanting to travel the world and work with the United Nations.
Goals, long-term planning, and committing to things was a shoulder shrug for Angelina Jolie. Combine that with all the reading into things and guessing about people's perspectives, Angelina Jolie being an ESTP really doesn't add up. Instead, the patterns pointed very consistently towards Angelina Jolie being an NJ personality type. That leaves us with 4 very unique and different personality types. So which one? Let's dig a little deeper. The next place to look is whether Angelina is an IJ or EJ personality type. EJ personality types, they lead with an extroverted judging function, basically an outside decision-making function. They really like working on outside problems, taking on outside responsibility, and engaging with the outside world to get things done.
So I was calling we have to set up the rules, let's make agreements so that we can get back to work, and that I was calling governments and getting agreements with them, and then I was sharing it with the other studios and my friends, saying this is how we're doing it.
On the other hand, IJ personality types, they also like planning, but because they lead with an introverted perceiving function that likes to slow things down, narrow in, and process things more in depth, this makes it so IJ personality types really like carefully avoiding chaos, preparing a lot beforehand so they don't have to jump into things in the moment.
Give it a sec, let me just prepare myself.
Is it safe?
It depends on what, safe in your book is.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna just do this one window.
Get up on the thing, bro.
No, I don't want to get up on the thing because I won't be able to get down. I'm going to admit defeat.
Keeping these two patterns in mind, now let's see which actually shows up with Angelina Jolie.
You got to do your best. Don't become safe. Don't become safe. We're going to help return people, and we're going to bring awareness, and we're going to help end wars. And then eventually called Washington and asked if I could travel with them. And then later I did join the UN. Paperwork was done when he was 7 months. And so I was in the middle of shooting this movie, and a nurse handed me Maddox. I'd never been around kids my whole life.
You had no instruction? Nobody had...
No, I called my mom. How many bottles a day? How many, what do I do?
Let's just talk about the amount of responsibility she easily assumes. So much of a shoulder shrug, really highly likely there.
I mean, the amount of things that she was talking about getting involved with, helping with, pushing forward, that is not easy at all. Like, that is a lot of chaos factors in adopting someone, going to the UN, going to these different countries, organizing this. I'm gonna go out and see it for myself. The amount of chaos that would entail is a lot, and she didn't talk about that. Instead, she kept talking about what she was advocating for, or what she really wanted to see or work on and help.
I learned a lot about them, and I wanted people to know about the organization and to know positive things about refugees. Just being a friend, being somebody who represents my country and all countries in the United States, to say I'm here to, you're not forgotten, and people care, and we'd love to spend time with you.
She has a comfortability with going, I'm okay with being responsible and committing. I'm fine with responsibility. The UN is not a small thing to do. Adopting one child isn't a small thing to do.
While she's in the middle of a shoot.
That's very interesting how she was like, yep, commitment, responsibility, sure.
And she kept making it more. I want to be there. I want to try this. I think we should need to advocate for this. This stuff is going on in the world and we need to do more.
We need to help.
We need to help. Yeah, we need to help.
And I guess what you're saying is that's more towards EJ versus IJ.
Yeah.
When you have IJ preferences, if you're going to go into something, because introverted intuition is the dominant position and extroverted sensing is much further away, you're not going to be inclined to just jump into things to do it. Just jumping in, just doing it without overthinking it, that's kind of like, what? You don't do that. You don't just mess things up. You actually want to go in there and plan ahead so you don't mess anything up.
Get out of the box, get out of your head, make a mess.
We're all a bit wild and free. We all want to, get nuts and free and happy.
Have a little madness, have a little wild.
She calls it her wild side.
Her wild side, yeah. And why would IJs not want to do that? That's like, well, I don't want to get into the chaos. I don't want to get into the wildness of it. She's like, so I just picked up the phone and called the UN. And I'm like, you what?
Angelina Jolie being an ENJ personality type is where I think some of the ESTP guesses might be coming from. Angelina does have extroverted sensing as one of her top 3 functions. And more importantly, she's extroverted. And so you do see a lot more openness, engaging with the outside world, jumping into action, and comfortability with messing things up sometimes that you wouldn't see with an IJ personality type. But just because she engages like that or likes playing around sometimes with extroverted sensing doesn't necessarily mean that she's an ESTP personality type or someone that prefers extroverted sensing more than introverted intuition. All right, so now we have 2 remaining options for Angelina Jolie's mysterious personality patterns, ENFJ and ENTJ. Angelina Jolie obviously has feelings. Every personality type does. And she does really like helping the outside, especially as an EJ personality type. The nuance though is in how she likes to help. When she's making decisions about how things should be done outside, does she have a feelings goal? This is how I want other people to feel. This is how I want to support people's needs and create emotional connection and warmth. Or do we see Angelina having a more objective goal, setting the feelings aside to think about how things could functionally work better or be done more effectively? competently outside.
But I think to know that you're useful just as a human being,
And then I want to be able to learn how to be more effective, accomplish what needs to be done.
okay, we've got X amount of hours with the kids. We got to get that thing up. We'd hardly have any, the logistics are impossible. You get the wire up. The way you have to push them to say, this is not going to be easy. We're going to have to do this, and they're not going to like it. You know what? At the end of the day, there can be days that they don't like me because I'd rather them not like me and not have wasted 5 months of their life.
It turns out Angelina Jolie is a female thinker, not feeler. She still cares strongly about people and likes helping. But instead of helping with a feelings goal in mind, Angelina liked helping in a more detached cause and effect sort of way.
I want them to be proud of the end result. I know that real leadership is pushing people to do something that at the end of the day, they're happy they did.
Yeah, you're not there to make friends.
Not there to make friends.
How do things functionally work and get done outside? What's the goal, and then what makes sense to do to help things functionally work better for everyone? This more detached and firm way Angelina likes assessing things and making her decisions is another reason why I think some people have thought that Angelina Jolie is an ESTP, or like she comes across like a thinker. In that regard, people are actually spot on. She's just not an ESTP.
Well, I want to know what causes it. Something funds. When you go to the Congo, there's gold and there's coal, and these little kids are being forced to do manual labor to pull it out of the ground, and then they give it to militia guys, and then they give it to government officials that are corrupt, and then they sell it to big companies who eventually it ends up in our phones. We need to know who we're buying from. We need our countries to be really strong. That's one thing, because we obviously feed these wars.
To see these children, they're making gold, they're mining things, and then those resources go to making these things. Look at how the resources are in balance. There's a lot of awareness for how the world works and identifying resources.
It's interesting, even though we did see very clear extroverted thinking with Angelina Jolie, it was still clear that she uses introverted feeling somewhere in her personality type.
Yeah. You know, you don't feel as understood or connected, but you know who you are and you're okay with that?
I think if you're at heart a pretty decent person and you're not coming from a place of wanting to hurt other people or you just want to be who you are.
It is very much me. It is the project that is the most me and where my heart is.
The nuance, though, is that even though Angelina has her personal value system, things that she's passionate about, and awareness of how things personally make her feel, digging into those sensitive feelings, or even worse, using those feelings to make her decisions, it was clear that's still totally uncomfortable for her, demonstrating Angelina Jolie's introverted feeling inferior.
I think it's taken me a long time to get back to her.
I admitted it was like a therapy. It was the finding my voice and letting my voice out that was really hard for me. I was really emotional about it. I didn't know how much I had lost my voice, made it smaller and kind of locked it away. And so finding it and letting it come out was such a feeling that I wish for everybody to have.
It's really cool to hear people when they're talking about something, what's a big deal and what isn't a big deal. What's a big deal are feelings and identity and getting to know yourself. What isn't a big deal? Going to the UN, picking up the phone and calling the UN.
That's interesting.
Very interesting.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. We tend to talk about the things that are special and different. That's the FI inferior. That's I didn't realize there was so many voices of myself that I put away.
A lot of sources online can make Myers-Briggs seem really complicated, out of reach, and frankly convoluted, which is a shame because with the right explanations, examples, and guidance, we believe MBTI can actually be super practical, clear, and easy to understand. For example, look here again at how confused the internet is about Angelina Jolie, but if broken down and explained carefully, her patterns can suddenly become clear and sort of hard to unsee. If you've been drowning in MBTI videos, but this is the first one that's actually made sense, or if you've been trying to understand your cognitive functions, but a couple of them just never seem to click, or if you've been getting feedback about the same stress points and blind spots over and over again, we cannot recommend our MBTI Foundations program enough. Z and I have spent literal years refining a 3-step process that can reliably help you not only figure out your best fit personality type, but actually understand how your functions work and show up for you in real life. We believe that finding your best fit personality type, it's not just to get some fun letters or for self-validation, but instead the best part is how it can help us grow into more balanced, compassionate, and self-aware versions of ourselves. If any of that sounds interesting to you, check out our MBTI Foundations program at learn.ericwen.com. Each month, we only have capacity to take on 3 new students, but we'd love to get to know you. The website is also where you can watch all of our full celebrity analysis videos, join live workshops, ask us questions directly, and explore tons of deep dives we've created exclusively for members over the past couple years. Again, that's learn.ericwen.com. All the best stuff is over there. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next ones. Peace, peace. Bye.